Here now, Dan Mitchell for the Center for Freedom and Prosperity.
Yeah.
He is the co-founder there. Dan, what's your take on everything that's going on right now in the market and how it relates to the economy and politics?
Well, there are three possible explanations of what's going on. This could be nothing. 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, we could look at this the same way we looked at that big stock market crash in 1987 that apparently had no economic effect. This could be a bubble bursting, and all the comments that we've already heard today from people saying we shouldn't have had all the easy money. That could be true, and we could be in for a serious correction. And we could also have a third possible option, which is that the fundamentals are a problem. Investors are finally looking at the fact that we have a lot of government debt. We have demographics that are unfavorable. Neither the Democrats nor the Trump administration seem serious about addressing it. And maybe people are getting very nervous about that.
They're certainly not serious about addressing the debt issue. Everybody has been saying that at some point those chickens have to come home to roost, but we seem to always sort of find our way out of it in the near term. You think now is finally the time that debt becomes a real problem?
Well, I put that as the third option because I personally think that's the least likely. I think of rising entitlement spending and increasing debt. I think of that as something that just sort of tax the economy's long-run vitality. In other words, it doesn't cause a short-run crisis. It just means that we grow at, say, 1.5% instead of 2.5%. But it could be, and especially in an environment where the Fed is trying to normalize monetary policy, and maybe people are looking at all the debt out there and the fact that we're heading back toward trillion-dollar deficits, and they're thinking, well, maybe I just want to suddenly, make my portfolio look safer. And enough people do that at the same time, all of a sudden the market's down 800-plus points. So
then what is the impact of that? I mean, that sounds like in that scenario, it's sort of a, slower market growth, but not a total fall off the side of the planet type thing.
Well, if I could look forward on the news 2 weeks from now and know what was happening, I would give you a really smart, clever answer. I genuinely don't know, and I don't think anybody else really knows for sure whether or not this will even be a story 2 weeks from now. It could just simply be a correction because the market's gone up and up and up and up. Nobody knows. I'm not going to pretend I know. If economists really knew the answers to these questions, we'd be multi-billionaires.
I studied economics. You can only look in retrospect and try to explain what happened behind you. It makes it totally worthless, but that's beside the point. Dan, let me ask you, with the midterms coming up, do you think that this is coincidental? Do you think that it has an impact on it? Do you think that it's, people feeling pessimistic about the midterms for one reason or the other?
Well, one of your guests just said that markets are forward-looking. There's no question that the political betting markets think that the Democrats take the House. If for some reason you think that not only the Democrats take the House, but they take the Senate, and you think, therefore, that means Trump will, say, roll over and accept tax increases and some of the sort of irresponsible sort of Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren policies, then, yeah, maybe you might suddenly get pessimistic. But I don't think that's really a good explanation because Republicans seem more confident of holding the Senate ever since the whole, Kavanaugh hearings.
See, that's actually more what I was thinking and implying is the idea that, all the talk about that this fight over Brett Kavanaugh has awoken the sleeping giant in the Republicans, and that, in fact, the Democrats aren't going to take everything back the way that they had thought or the way it had been predicted, and it's looking more and more like control on the right. I mean, maybe the market is responding to, a lot of Democrats out there in the market.
Well, but you would think that regardless of what Democrats want personally, they want their asset values to increase and they want to be richer. But then again, people have different perspectives on what makes the economy richer.
Yeah.
Some people out there actually believe the IMF that higher taxes are good for an economy. I guess it takes all types.
Takes all types. All right, Dan Mitchell, thank you.